All right, everyone, welcome back to another lesson. And as you can see, I have glasses on. I think it's time for me. I'm getting too old. And watching, you need to understand that I'm coding for each day, 7 out of 7 days. I'm basically sitting behind the screen for almost 10 to 12 hours, right? And having the lights and the cameras on my face, I need to have something to protect my eyes so I can basically stick a little bit longer here with you guys. So that's these beautiful glasses. There are no strength on it. It's just blue light filter. Anyway, you guys are not here for listening to my bullshit. We're going to do some cool stuff today. And in the full-time codev program, the Jason hotel reservation program, we are going to start adding some middleware. So because actually, to be honest, we are going to start book some rooms, right? But if you want to book some rooms, we need to know the user is going to book some rooms, right? It's going to be the front end. The user is going to browse, yada yada. It's going to select a room and it's going to try to book it. Right, so we need to have a way to actually identify the user in our database and all that stuff. So that means that we need to have a login function. So we're going to log in the user and we're going to authenticate the user with JWT. So what we're going to do in API, we have hotel handler, user handler, and a user handler test. We are going to make a new folder, right? A new folder. Wait, what's going on is D. A new folder. We're going to call this middleware. Middleware like this, and in middleware we are going to make a new file, and that file is going to be, let me think, let's call it jwt.go. Actually, to be honest, jwt.go. That's perfectly fine. We're gonna call this the middleware package. Yeah. These things can be deleted. Perfectly fine. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we are going to make a middleware function. We're gonna call this JWT Authentication, and I'm pretty sure that inside of GoFiber there is some middleware that handles JWT for us, but it's good that we have Fiber to help us with some stuff. But I think it could be a good practice to learn how to, for the people that really don't understand JWT, it's good to implement it ourselves a little bit, because we are here to learn. We are not here to configure it, right? That's the thing. So we're going to do it ourselves, right? So JWT Authentication, and it's going to take in, again, a C. It's going to be a Fiber CTX and an error, just a simple handler, like every single framework does this the same way, kind of. And we're going to say println here real quick. We're going to say something like JWT out, something like that. Something to basically, what's going on here? Vim is not responsive. And this is going to be Fiber v2, don't forget this, right? And we're going to return nil, right? So we're going to have a simple authentication. It does nothing. It's only going to print out that we are JWT outing here, right? JWT outing, something like that, right? And now we're going back to main. And inside our main function, we have this beautiful API v1, which is an app group. And we are going to group. We're going to attach this middleware to this group. How are we going to do that? Very simple. We're going to say middleware, because that's the name of our package. And we're going to say JWT Authentication. Do we have this? Yes, this one. And call it a day. Let me see. Yeah, you can see the import path here, API middleware, where we're going to put all our middlewares inside. That's good. The next thing we're gonna do is basically gonna test it. We're gonna test it. That's what it's gonna be. Go run, make run, by the way. Make run, please. What's going on? Yes. So let me open up this thing here real quick, and we make a new request real quick. I'm gonna do this just like that. Thunder client new request. We're gonna do HTTPS, HTTP localhost 5000/API v1. Let's call this just user, or basically hotel. Do we have this? I think it is. Let's send this out. Nothing is happening because I cannot even type the URL. Boom. We don't have any users right now because we are resetting our database and we don't see the users. So, but it's what it is. So we're going to see each time we see outing. Each time we're going to click this thing, going to click it a couple times, you're going to see that we are outing. It basically means each route that we are going to hit is going to be protected, is going to run our middleware first, right? And the main reason for this, for the middleware, is that we are basically going to check for a token, right? So how are we going to do that? Well, let's open up our middleware once again, JWT. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to check for a token. We're going to say token OK is going to be C get request headers, and that's going to be a map, right? Let me see this. You see, get request headers is going to be a map string of string, right? JWT, by the way, yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to check our token, and that's basically the key of the token. We're going to call this for example, an X API token. Just like this, an X API token, or you could call it JWT. You can actually call this key whatever you want, right? It doesn't matter. Most of the time, an X API token is something custom, so that's going to be fine. We're going to say that if not okay, if we cannot find the token, we are going to return fmt error f. And it's very important that we don't give too much information to the end user for hackers and all that stuff, right? So we're going to say basically unauthorized, just like that. Very important is also, normally we should give it a correct status code, but we don't. We just return unauthorized. So what we're going to do later on, we're going to have a separate series, a separate video in this chapter where we're going to create our custom errors, and then we can actually handle these errors in our centralized error handler here in main, right? Where is it? Here, this centralized error handler here. And we're going to check our custom errors and give it the correct status code, right? But that's for later on. So we have a token here. Let's print out the token real quick. Println is going to be token is going to be here, this token right here, right? So how are we going to set that token? Let's make a run real quick, and each time we're going to click this thing, it's going to say unauthorized, right? Because it cannot find the token. So we're going to set that token in our header, and we're going to say X API token, and we're going to give this, for example, some random token here, and we're going to send that, and then you're going to see that we have, it's fine, but we don't return anything, but you can see that we fetched the token in our header, and that's exactly what we need, because we're going to use that token to check the claims of the token, and it will be all clear. It will be all clear. No worries about that. And I think I look pretty smart with these glasses on. Let me know in the comments what you think about me with these glasses. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to open up some documentation here, right? I have this Golang JWT documentation, and we're going to check for some examples so we can copy paste a little bit, right? Where directory of examples, simple example of parsing and validating a token. So it's going to have a token string here, which is a JWT, and that's basically what will be in our header. But first, we are going to copy this code. I'm going to copy that, and we are going to go back to Vim here and close this server, clear the screen, and then we're going to make a new function here real quick. I'm going to say func parse JWT token, and we're going to give it a token here, a token string, by the way, token str. It's going to be a string, and this is going to return an error maybe, I don't know. We're going to see, we're going to probably change that up, and we're going to paste the whole shebang inside of this. Of course, we're going to save that, and this is going to JWT, but we actually installed v5. Let me show you. You see v5 here inside of the package, right? If you can see that v5, so we need to basically VS Code and Vim, and basically the Golang shenanigans does not import these versions, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, one thing we forgot is basically we need to install this package, right? So how are we going to do that? That's a good question. Let's go back here. Maybe there is some stuff where we can copy paste to install this. Because you can see here, right? This is the v5 thingy. So we're gonna copy this and paste that into here. Press enter. It's already been installed. Save, and it should be fine. Of course, it cannot find it right now, but it exists, right? So we're gonna have this parse JWT token. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna call this parse token, because a little bit clearer. Token is going to be parse this token string. I don't like these unexpected signing methods here because I don't want to show these errors to the user. Although, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a log, right? It's very important. This is a very important aspect. Don't return internal errors, critical errors to the end user because that's not secure. Instead, just log them out. So we're going to log it out and we're going to say invalid signing methods. And maybe we could do it like token header. And we're going to say the algorithm. And we're going to return here, we're going to return null. And we're going to return fmt error f unauthorized. That's the only thing we want to show to the user, that it's going to be unauthorized. Unauthorized, just like that. Delete this, wait, this one. And yeah, the next thing we need to do in this function, we need to return our secret. And that's going to be a secret that will be in our environment variable. So we're going to say that the secret is going to be os getenv. That's how you get an environment variable from Go. Inside of Go. And we're going to say that this is going to be a JWT secret. Right? That's what we're going to fetch. And we're going to say, we're going to return that. It needs to be bytes, so we're going to cast this string to bytes, right? Secret, boom. That's good. And then the next thing we're going to do is it's going to check here if the claims are JWT claims, right? JWT map claims. So you can have map claims, which basically will parse the claims of the token, right? Inside of a token, there is a map hidden, and you will see that later on. And what's going to happen is that it's going to cast that to a map claims. You can also have a struct claims based on your own struct, but map claims is fine. So if this works, we're gonna do some stuff here, I guess. Otherwise, we are going to return again. We are going to return an error unauthorized. We don't want to show anything more to the user, right? This is not going to work. What we could do is basically just print out the claims. Just like that. JWT is not being found. That's fine. Yeah, so that's parsing the token unauthorized. We could say invalid signing method. Yeah. What we could do basically, what I basically always do, it's fine. It's fine. All right, so that's parse token. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say if r is going to be parse token, the token we fetched from the header, and if that error is not null, we are going to return an error. So it's fine to return the error. Actually, what we also could do is return an unauthorized here and return actually the errors here. But hey, it's fine, we can refactor if we want. So we're going to parse the token here. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Let's see if it can make run. Declared not used. Token string not used. Okay, there's token string here, so we need to do that here also. Just like that. And then we have an R not used at 27. That's basically this guy here. So if R, let's zoom in, center, is not null, we are going to say return R. That's not. We're going to return this unauthorized, but we're going to log this error here, and we're going to say failed to parse token, JWT token, right? And then we're going to basically do the error here so we can actually see what the error is, but we don't return it to the user. Very important. So that's what we have here. That's fine. Make run should work. Of course, it cannot work, right? Because we don't have a secret and all that stuff. So we're going to have some problem. Actually, guys, what we could do is basically print out the secret. Never print out your secret, of course, but I'm going to show you. We're going to say fmt println never print secret. Right, but for debugging, to show you guys we can. This is a secret. Let's make this capital letter. So we're going to say here export JWT secret, and that is going to be some invalid unsecure secret. Boom, press enter, make run, and see if that is going to work. So we're going to send here, boom, it's going to set unauthorized because it is. So failed to parse JWT token. Token is malformed, contains any invalid number of segments. The thing is, actually, to be honest, why don't we see? Oh yeah, it's because it's a, yeah, our token is bad. Can we actually copy a token from somewhere else? It's fine, don't worry about it. The problem is it's not a valid, it already detects it's not a valid token, so it does not need to check our secret to sign it because it knows that it's already a borked token, an invalid token, right? So what we need to do for this authentication to work decently is, the first thing we need to do is log in a user, right? Because we cannot test our token stuff if we cannot log in a user, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going back to user handler real quick. Here. And what we're going to do is make a login handler, right? We're going to say func h user handler login handle login C, pointer to a fiber CTX error. And the first thing we're going to do is create some login params, right? So we're going to say, let's make it, login is fine. Login params. Actually, we're going to call this handle authenticate. I think logging in is so weird. Handle authenticate. And we're going to call this out params. Right? Out params struct. That's going to be an email string. That's going to be JSON email and a password, which is going to be a password. Right? Boom. That's the thing. So this is probably going to be a 2-episode series because we're also going to test how we're going to compare passwords and everything. So it's going to be a very important thing, and I want to take our time. I want to split it out. So out params, the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to say var out params is going to be out params, and then we're going to say if r is going to be c, and we're going to call our body parser back again, and we are going to say n out params. And if the error is not null, we are going to return the error right here. On the other side, let's return null, to be honest. The thing is, what I want to check is basically if this out param is going to work, because we need to set our content type, right? Let's do out params here. Make a run. This token is not needed. What we need to say is content type, to be honest. Content type, it should be application JSON. We cannot forget that. We're going to basically say, we don't have a route. We need to do that. Forgot it. Handle authenticate is this route. We're going back to main. We have our routes here, and we're going to say out. We could do it in user. We could do it in another handler, the out handler or something. That's maybe not a bad idea. Let's actually do that, to be honest. Or maybe we can do it the next time, or maybe we can do it now. Let's do it quickly here, right? So I'm going to copy this API real quick here. I'm going to call this post, and it's going to be /out. Post /out, and we're going to say user handler authenticate. Make a run. Yeah, fine. So let's do this post here to API v1. We're going to call this out. That's fine. If we post, it's probably going to have some problems. Oh yeah, the thing is, our authenticate route cannot be protected. It's very important because if it's going to be protected, we can never authenticate ourselves. So how we're going to do this real quick is this is going to be an API v1. I'm thinking. Maybe I could do API v1 no out. It's going to be, can I do this? Paste it in, but do not do this. I'm not quite sure if that gonna work. Maybe this authenticate will never change. Actually, do we need to wrap this in an API? We could do this like that, right? API. Is this, so we could say out, to be honest, let's do it like that, out out.post/out handle authenticate. That could be a thing, make run. I hope this makes sense. You could play around with, it doesn't really matter how it looks. So instead of making API, you could show API out, because do we need to version it? Maybe. Most of the time, you're never going to version your authentication, right? So we're going to say send, and then we're going to say unexpected end of JSON input. That's true because we don't have any JSON set. So we're going to say email is going to be, for example, James is going to log in, James at foo.com. And then we're going to say that the password of this James is going to be foobar is his password, and I think is going to be foobar buzz. So we have enough characters. So we're going to send. And then we're going to see here that we're going to have out params, right? Or authentication params. So that's working like intended, right? So that's fine. So we have our out route, and then our basically our versioned API routes, right? And this is our authenticate, right? So let's open up. First of all, what we're going to do is we are going to open up this API because we have user hotel. I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to call this out handler.go, right? And on the other side, I'm going to open up the user handler, right? I'm going to say type out handler structure. We're going to have a user store in this out handler. We need that user store. That's fine. And then we're going to say, we're going to copy this function over, paste it in. We're going to call this new out handler. That's going to be an out handler, just like that. And this is going to be out handler, user store, all good, all good. And then we're going to say out params, copy this authenticate, delete it by the way, paste it in below, save it here, close it here. And then we're going back to main. And instead of making user handler, hotel handler, out handler, it's going to be API, new, out handler, user store is what we need. Look at this, everything worked pretty fine with this. Blur, boom, boom, boom. And this is going to be the out handler is going to handle authenticate. We don't have this function, is that true? Yeah, it's true, because this user handler, we need to change this out. Yeah, all good, all good. Let's open back main. Yeah, all fine. Let's make run real quick. Boom. Yes. Let's send this boom, and it's going to be the same thing because we're going to have some output here. Yes. So we actually refactored a little bit. We extracted the authentication logic to the out handler instead of the user handler. The user handler is for basically user stuff, and authenticating is for authenticating stuff, which is also user, but a little bit of separation of concerns. Never killed someone. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is open up this out handler real quick. What we're gonna do first of all is we need to find a user by email. That's the first thing we need to do, right? Because what we're going to do here is we're going to have this email, and we're going to say user r, right, is going to be h user store find user get user by email, right? Get user by email, and we're going to say out params. Why do we do it like that? I'm going to say params like that. It's a little bit better. Params, a little bit shorter. We're going to say params email, right? If r is not null. Speeding a little bit up, we are going to return an error. Return r. All right. Then we have a user. Let's say user like that. Of course, we don't have get user by email, so we're going to do that. User store, boom, boom, boom. Here, get user by email. It's a string, that's fine. And yes, 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 all good. So we're going to copy get user by ID. Where is this guy? Search for it. By ID here. Oops, wait. Here, this one. I'm going to copy this function. Paste it in. Boom. Gonna call this get user by email. Which is the email is going to be this thing. Email. Hop. We don't need this ID stuff. This is our user. And then we're going to say our query is going to be email. And that's going to be this email address. And that should be it. So back in user handler, out handler by the way. Here, get user by email. Needs the ctx, is going to be the C context. And then it's going to be the params email. And that's just going to be it. So what we're going to do, each time we cannot find the user, it's going to be an unauthorized or something like that, or whatever, forbidden. Otherwise, we're going to print out the user. The thing is, we don't have a user, no worries, we're going to test it. So make run, and we're going to make one later on. So let's out ourselves with James. We're going to send it, and there's going to be no documents in the result. That's a problem. Like I said before, we cannot return that error to the user. That's a no-go, right? So we need to change this. The question rather is, we're going to actually, if errors is this error, and that's going to be a mongo.document error. Wait, can I? Error no documents. Then we're gonna say println invalid credentials. Too many return values. Yeah, println, that's not going to work. It's error f. My bad. Error f. Error f. Kill this, make run, boom. Do it again. Invalid credentials, perfectly fine. Status 200 OK. Completely trash. And we're going to fix that later on. Cannot emphasize enough. It's going to happen. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is create a user, by the way. So it's going to be API v1 user. We can post, and we're going to say the email is James. Our password is Tisfu Barbas. Maybe we need a first name, to be honest. First name is going to be James, of course, right? And then we're going to say that the last name is going to be James Fu. Let's try. We're going to send that unauthorized. Yeah, we cannot create a user when we are unauthorized. That's nasty. So what we're going to do basically, we're going to seed, right? It's time for some seeding shenanigans. Seed hotel. We're going to say func seed user. Actually an email. Do we want a name and everything? Yeah, why not? So we're going to say a name, F name, L name, email. These passwords, we don't fucking care, I think. It's going to be a string, and we're going to return nothing, right? How are we going to do that? We're going to say user is going to be types user. Yeah. What's going on here? Oh yeah, we need to have this encrypted password, right? What, do we have a new user stuff? I think we have actually. User R is going to be types new user from params. That's fine. Types create user params. All right. Email, first name, F name, last name, L name, password. We're gonna call this super secure password for now. This error, we're gonna say if R, because it's a seed file, doesn't matter. If the error is not null, we are going to center this real quick, log fail out this error. Then we're gonna have a user, so we're gonna say, do we have a user store? We don't. We're gonna make one. User store db.user store. Where do we init everything? Here. So we're going to say that the user store is going to be a db new Mongo user store client hotel store. We don't need this, just a client, just like that. Boom, boom, boom. Make this thing, and then we're going to say user store. Insert user. What does it return actually? It types user and an error. That's fine. So we're gonna say here, we don't care about the user, maybe the error. That's important. Do this, hop, 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 paste that in. Boom. We need a ctx, context background, or to do, we don't care. No new variables left of this. Delete this. Seed the user, go back down below. Seed some users in. Seed user. James foo. James at foo.com. Passwords, we don't care because it's going to set us thing. Let's see if seeding is gonna work. Make seed. Yes. Seems good. Let me open up this Mongo client. Do I still have it? Mongo client to see if everything is working fine. Connect. Man, this electricity here is crazy, man. Static electricity. Insane. Let me open up this thing. Whoops. Users. I think we have one. And that's going to be James. Yeah. Look at this encrypted password and all that shenanigans is fine. So, the password is going to be, we hard-coded that, so that's going to be super secure password. Fine. Out. That's where we were, I think. What is going on here with this stupid thing? Ask me later. Fine. Wait, there is a user, right? So that basically means make a run, I think. It's going to be here. The password is going to be super. This is creating a user. We don't need that. We need the previous thing. That was authenticating, right? Is that what you want to do? Yeah, authenticating. It's API out. The only thing we need is an email and a password to authenticate ourselves. James is fine. Password is going to be super secure. It doesn't actually matter what the password is. It's only the email that is first going to check. So I'm going to send this. You see? Oh, wait. API cannot marshal string into go value out params. What's going on? This is a problem. Boom. Yeah, fine. So now you're going to see this. Yes. So it finds the user here. And that's basically in this code. Here is this user, right? That's the first thing we need to do, right? The first thing what we need to do is find the user. And then we need to compare the password. How do we do that? I think we could do something like... we could do bcrypt.compare hash password. That's going to be the hash password and the password in bytes, right? So it's going to be out. So we could do something like the hashed password is going to be user.encrypted password. Yeah, and then we're going to compare that with the password from the params. It's going to be params password. And that's going to return an error. Is it going to return a bool or an error? An error. So we're going to say, to make it a little bit shorter here, we're going to say R is this. If R is not null, we are going to return invalid credentials. Don't give it too much information. Otherwise, we're going to say logged in beautifully. Logged, actually authenticated. Authenticated this user. So weird. This is my whole desk is under static electricity. It's crazy. This error is already been declared. Yeah. Let's build this. Make run once again. Try it out. So if we do it with this password, invalid credentials, because it's going to be super secure, password should be the correct thing. Boom. Yes. Authenticated. Done. Now that we can authenticate the user, now we can store, now we can basically create a JWT token based on his ID and everything, and we can use that token to authenticate the user against all our other requests. And that's going to be for the next episode. Cheers.